Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being here and joining us. Deborah Kobylt live. Got a great guest on the phone today joining us, Sam Behrens. You may know him as he's done lots and lots of work on soaps, daytime soaps, nighttime soaps, films. Weren't you also the Wrangler Man? Is that right?
Oh, you certainly dug up some information.
Yeah, I do my
that's
stuff.
Right. I was for a few years. I was the Wrangler Man.
I mean, I remember. I swear to God, like that was one sexy guy, the Wrangler Man. I'm telling you. So, okay, we'll talk about that too. And you've also done quite a bit in film. You are married to the very esteemed Sherry Belafonte. So, thanks for being here.
True.
I really appreciate you being here. Tell me.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, you're a guy from Brooklyn, and you were initially,
Yes, I am.
yeah, you were getting into the family catering business. Is that true?
Well, I wasn't getting into it. I was working there for a while I found out, what my life was going to be. That would be more accurate.
Okay.
I was lucky to have it to do.
Yeah. And were you going out on acting roles at the time when you were, I would assume you were a kid, a young person. Is that what you were doing, like working for the family business, and then you wanted to be an actor, or did you just sort of fall into it? How did that go?
Well, I kept saying I want to be an actor, but I wasn't, really committed to it. I wasn't passionate about doing what you need to do to get there.
Right.
And until I was, I was doing fine, working on the weekends and making money to pay the rent, at my family's business. And one day I woke up and I said, this is not what I want to do. I want to be an actor. So I moved to the city, and bus tables and, went from there.
Didn't you have a role on Broadway in Grease? Wasn't that one of your first roles?
Yes.
Or no? Is that right?
Well, it was one of my first legitimate roles, not legitimate theater, not that meaning, but, one that when somebody asks me what I do and I say I'm an actor, when I started saying I was on Broadway, they wrote, their head would, they didn't assume I was a waiter, which is usually the answer they get, but that I was actually working. They were, I could say, impressed. It was my first legitimate job.
What was your role?
I had worked as an actor. Vince Fontaine is the DJ. He has a short little part in the second act. So I had an easy time of it. I showed up on time. I sat in my dressing room and put my makeup on. And after the intermission, I came out and did my shtick and I left.
You later on in your career, let's jump a little bit. You did theater and you did it with your wife here in Los Angeles, right? Tamara, The Moving Story.
Yeah, you sure did your work. Yes, that's right.
Right. So,
it was a great concept. Yes.
How did that go? I'll tell you a little story about Tamara. How did that go? Did you enjoy doing that?
Oh, we did very much.
I
can speak for Sherry.
I knew the producers
as well. We had a great time.
My sister was one of the producers of that show. So when I saw that, I thought,
oh, no kidding.
Yep. Her name is Lynn. And when I saw that, I thought, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't know they were in that. And then I thought, oh, yeah, they were. I remember. I didn't see you guys in that. But I remember it was a big deal that you and your wife were in Tamara. So, which got me thinking, you early on in your career, you were doing theater. A little later on, you were doing theater. Is it one of your loves, theater? Or do you sort of like everything, film, TV, theater?
Well, I would, yeah. I mean, I love to do it. I love pretending to be other people. So with their problems and circumstances and interrelationships, it's all a great journey for me. So to me, it sort of doesn't matter where it is. At its core, it's the same thing, no matter where you do it. So, yeah, I love it all.
A little yes and a little no, because, theater, it's a live audience, which to me is terrifying because I would be so self-conscious. I remember I did The Taming of the Shrew, and I played two different roles. I was the shrew, and I was the Bianca. That's right. And I thought, I was terrified. I was terrified. Did I look okay? Am I going to fall? Am I going to fall in my little dress? It was so hard for me to do.
That's the tough part. I mean, anybody can act, and some people don't, will say, "What are you talking about?" But it's true. Anybody can act. Anybody can play cowboys and Indians. It's doing it in front of an audience or in front of a camera with 8 people standing around that camera.
Yeah.
But
the live audience is
that's the trick.
Yeah, the live audience to me is terrifying. Are they enjoying it? Because if they are, they're going to clap and they're going to laugh. If not, it's like, uh-oh. But so you did
if you're thinking about that while you're on stage, you're in trouble.
Well, remember I told you I wasn't the greatest actor? Now that's why. I was just thinking too much. You really do have to park it, right? Park it at the door, stage door, and just go in and be the character, and you can find yourself later. That's what I say.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not easy to do. People think it is. It's not. So soaps. You started, was Ryan's Hope one of your first soaps?
Yeah, it was my first. Well, actually, I did an extra on some show I can't even remember for NBC.
But it was one of the
first. That was my first.
Yeah, and how was that? I mean, I often, I didn't really watch a lot of soaps, but I knew plenty of people who did, and it just seemed like a lot of work. I mean, long days, right? Because it's almost like a live story, soap operas.
Well, that was a half-hour soap, so it wasn't quite as bad. General Hospital was, first of all, they're so exciting and involving, and that you don't mind how much work they are because they're just it's not the greatest artistic fulfillment, but they can be if you put your heart and soul into it, and it also can make you crazy. But
how so?
They're just so much fun if you have a good group of people around you, and I was always lucky to have that. General Hospital was a joy to go to work every day.
Hey, are you there? Am I losing you? Are you there?
I'm here.
I feel like I'm losing you. I don't know what it is. Just try to talk a little closer to the phone if that's okay. Did you have a particular role or soap that you enjoyed? I also know you did a lot of nighttime work. You're on Knots Landing.
Yes. Well, like I said, I could pick any one of those. Knots Landing, amazing group of people.
Yeah. Is it difficult to sustain yourself in the business? Because we were talking on the phone about aging in Hollywood. Now, there's a lot more, I think, content out there because they need a lot of actors. But it's also difficult obviously for women. And you were saying for men, too. There's not as many great roles for a gentleman, let's say, over 50. Correct?
Yeah, well, it's hard to complain in front of women about it because, women have that trouble at, 30. Yeah, well, the business in itself, it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, it's a tough thing to get in, and, but after 50, I'd say there's a shift as well. Mm-hmm. There may be 20, 30 people going up for a role that's anywhere from 20 to, 40. And after 50, there aren't as many roles, a significant lower amount. Plus they've got film people doing the TV roles, which are no longer really TV, they're Netflix and all that stuff. And you've got the English invading the country and the Canadians invading the country and Australians and all that stuff. So even though there's a lot of material, there seems to be less work for us lowly Los Angeles actors.
Oh, come on! You're the Wrangler Man.
Home and work. Huh?
Hang on, but you're the Wrangler Man. To me, you're always going to be the Wrangler Man. You're a good-looking guy and a terrific actor. So the Wrangler Man, you could play a dad at your age. You can play grandpa, I guess. I mean, I think, if anything, you would have bigger variety. You could play the guy in the office. You could play a villain, which I know you've done before, and you've been honored for it as well. You've had, how many soap, what is it called? What awards? The Soap Opera Digest Award, right? For
yes.
Craziest villain or something like that. I mean, my point is
something like that. Yeah.
I know you've won quite a few times. My point is, when I look at you, you just seem like you could play a variety of parts. So I still think you could knock those guys down.
Well, thank you. I'm sure I can. You've got to get in the door. You can't do anything until you're in the door. and that's the trick. That's the key, I think.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time where I stayed away for about 10 years. I was pursuing a directing thing, and I was staying away. That was when all the, not that they were knocking on my door. I wasn't turning anything away, but I was staying away from auditioning and all that stuff. And that was the period of time when reality TV shows came in, and there really was a desert of material.
There really was.
Out there.
I'm praying that that's starting to wane. I think it is, right? We've all had about enough of it. I'm hoping that there's better content. I know there's not as big of a payday because there's so much stuff out there flooding the market, right?
Yeah, well, it's obvious that, you know, there's so much better programming now. It's, Sherry and I will sit there on a full weekend just gobbling up one show for the, binge watching.
What do you like
just adore it.
What do you like to binge watch?
Pardon?
What do you like to binge watch? What are some of your faves?
Now you're going to ask me to remember a name, and that's where I go absolutely bonkers. But, the first one I ever binge watched was, Whizzikers. The teacher who ended up becoming a drug dealer.
I don't know that one. You know what? I don't binge watch a lot of stuff.
Oh, you do. You don't. But you're just as bad with names. You told me.
I remember. I said, "Oh, man after my own heart." I'm terrible with names. It's amazing that I'm remembering your name, Sam. You know what?
Breaking Bad.
Oh, Breaking Bad. Okay.
That was it.
Bingo. Okay, yeah. Breaking Bad. You want to know mine?
Yeah.
I love Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of her. Have you seen that?
I've been told I have to see that, and I mean to.
Please.
And I think it's when I have enough time. Yeah.
You will.
I'm told that's really terrific.
It's brilliantly written. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Who's writing this stuff? It's incredible, and it's so well acted. So that's my favorite binge. Let's talk a little bit about Sherry. You talked about your wife, Sherry Belafonte. We all know her. She's not only a terrific actress, she's beautiful. I really think she's stunning and elegant, like her dad. She was reading for a part, right? Is that how you met her on an audition?
Well, no, we were I had signed on to do a film, and she was considering doing the film. So she came into the first reading and decided to do the film. So that's how we met. And,
I read that she heard
the rest is history.
Yeah, I heard that she heard that you were on it, and when she read opposite you, as you said, the rest was history. She was smitten. How many years have you guys been together?
We're together 32 years, something like that.
Wow. What's the secret? I've been together for a while with my husband. I'd like to, I don't know, knock him up the side of the head half the time. But how do you guys manage to keep it together?
Well, I like to kid people and say the secret is never talk to each other. That's the secret. But there is no secret. Well, somebody once said the secret is stay together. That's the secret.
Right.
Because every relationship has its ups and downs, and that's the truth. But in general, we just enjoy each other's company. And I guess overall, that and our dogs have kept us together.
Right. Those are your kids.
Along with everything else.
Right. And now I know that, how many projects have you guys worked on together?
Well, we really work on every project we have together. We're always, what do you think about this? And, that sort of thing. We've actually worked together as a team on, a few things, on our own stuff, but we're a team in every aspect of life. Sometimes it's better that we contribute less to each other.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
We let each other do their thing, and sometimes it's better that we, seek each other's advice, that kind of thing.
I have to tell you, my husband and I, what we do best, perhaps, is work together.
Yeah.
And even though we're very different, because he's a radio guy and he tends to be a little more conservative, and I'm not. but it doesn't matter. We understand what we do, and we do that so well together. So I get it. If you can work together and manage to live together and build a life and just sustain that, that sort of is the key, I think, because you're right. A lot of times people will give up during a really, really bad patch, and everybody has one. So, that's the way that goes. How was her dad? Tell me a little bit about her dad. I mean, I know that was always. Did you get to meet him?
Yes. He's my father-in-law.
I know.
So I have a slanted point of view. He's an amazing man. I mean, how do you describe a guy like that?
I don't know, but he's a darling.
He's a guy who put his career and his money and all that into where his mouth was, and he's a hero. He's a big guy, and he's all the stereotypes. A man among men. He's and he's a human being. So I'm sure I could come up with things, where he falls a bit short, but
don't we all?
It's nothing compared to what he's done.
Don't we all? Actually,
we're humans.
Yeah, what I meant to say was, how did you meet him? Like, when did you meet him? I didn't mean to say, did you meet him? It's like, well, that's pretty obvious. But, because that would be a little intimidating as your father-in-law, I would think. Right?
It was intimidating. Well, it's still intimidating. But we met, he was playing Las Vegas, and I used to fly airplanes, and so Sherry's brother was in Los Angeles, so we decided to fly to Las Vegas to see him. And I don't think he was too happy about, Sherry and I being together, let alone flying out, not telling him. So it was a precarious meeting. We straightened it out a little later, though. So all's well that ends well.
Right.
But he was a perfect gentleman. And by the way, it's invaluable to be with someone like that, just in general, because he was one of the biggest stars in the world. He still is. I mean, he's
absolutely
worldwide recognized. And to see how he deals with folks, and because people bother him all the time, and it's no bother for him. He is such a gracious man. Unless somebody's an a-hole about it. Mm-hmm. He's such a gentleman.
Have you ever?
And he's a man who I'm not going to say little education. I mean, he graduated high school, but he can hold his own with anyone, and don't expect to win an argument with him. I mean with anyone. So he's in that way self-educated, and I don't know what else to say about him.
Have you ever done any work?
He's my father-in-law. So.
Yeah, you better say something good. Have you better say something good, or else then you're really going to be in deep shit tonight. Have you ever done any work with him, Sam?
Mm-hmm. I did a little. Hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello?
I'm right here. Keep going.
Okay. He was gracious enough to do a little short that I directed and Sherry produced. So we did work together on that. And again, you're going to get bored with my plaudits for him. He approached that little nothing short the way he approached, I'm sure, any job he did. He was 100% there, and I was amazed at that. I mean, he put his whole thing into it.
Yeah, but this Sam, even the smallest part or the largest epic film, all the good ones, all the greats, put their heart and soul into it. So he's one of the greats.
Yeah.
He's one of the greats, just like you are, and just like your wife. What is next for you? What is next? Because I think you're a terrific actor, and I'd love to see you in more. Is there anything you would love to do? Like, gosh, I still want to do what?
Well, I still want to do, I watch a movie like The Drop. Have you seen that?
Nope.
No.
Sorry.
This is the best movie you have never seen. And every time I have a chance, I tell people about this. This is an amazing movie. It shows up on HBO, one of those channels, every once in a while.
I'll look it up. I'll tell you, if you tell me to look for it, I will go home and look for it. So that's the kind of thing you want to do?
You won't be dissatisfied. Well, if I could remember his name, it was his either his last or his next to last film before he died, and Tom Hardy was in it.
Okay.
This is before he was really well known. An amazing. When I first saw it, I thought, boy, there's some studio. What's it called? Sorry, this really sounds not very good.
It's the creative process.
Studio
Sam.
actors. These are really studio actors, and a director who knew what he wanted and how to get it out of these actors, and and it kind of wasn't that at all. It is a story that takes place in Brooklyn, and it's about a bar that takes. It's about the people, not about the bar, but it's about a bar that takes in drop money from bookies. They come by and these gangsters support the bar so that they can use it as a drop for their money. You would swear, it's the kind of film you kind of think they rolled the camera on real people.
Oh wow! I'm going to take a look at that.
Find it, and I was amazed, and until I looked up the actors, almost all of them, except for this one actor, I can't remember his name.
That's okay.
They're all either from Belgium or Australia. Tom Hardy is, I think, English or Australian. Which made it all the more remarkable. Anyway, see the film just on its own. It's an amazing film. You'll love it.
So your next thing is sort of to look for something like The Drop, or develop it even yourself, right? I mean, an actor's life is always evolving.
That would be ideal. Let's do something like that.
Yeah, well, like I said, an actor's life.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I mean, I certainly had a fulfilling life. If I got something like that, boy, that would be amazing.
Do you hear that out there? Sam Behrens. Love to have something sort of similar to The Drop out there, guys. Look, as I said, an actor's life is always evolving, whether you're doing a play like Tamara or you are the Wrangler Man, which I think you could still be the Wrangler Man, or just anything in between. So I don't know. I just appreciate you coming on. I don't usually have a lot of guys who come on talking about what it's like a little bit in the business. What it's like waiting around for a role, what it's like starting in soaps and the whole evolution. So the little time we had, I really appreciate you giving us a little glimpse into what that's like. And please give a shout out to
it's delightful being with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, give a shout out to your wife, please. I think she's beautiful and talented. And I just saw her latest short film where she plays someone who's aging. And I thought that was fantastic. So please let her know that. I saw that at a film festival down over in Baldwin Hills. Terrific. So thank you so much for being with us. And we'll have you back again soon, I hope. And we'll talk to you next time, Sam.
Deborah.
Thank you.
I'd be delighted.
Okay. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thanks for tuning in, everybody, to Deborah Kobylt Live. Please look up Sam Behrens' work. He's a terrific actor. Go find that poster of him when he was the Wrangler Man, and anything else in between. We're grateful that you tuned in today. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio, YouTube, Facebook, and our promos. We put them out over on Instagram. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.